Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm in chaos while others crumble under the weight of ordinary stress? What secret power do they possess that allows them to face adversity with unwavering strength? The truth is, it's not luck and it's not magic. It's philosophy, specifically Stoicism. And what might surprise you most is that this ancient way of thinking wasn't made for monks in mountains. It was built for warriors in battle, leaders in crisis, and ordinary people like you and me. Let's start with a simple, powerful truth. You don't control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. This is the cornerstone of Stoic thought. And when you truly begin to live from this place, something inside you shifts. You stop reacting to life like a victim, and you start responding like a master. Epictetus, once a slave, became one of Stoicism's greatest voices. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Think about that. Your power isn't in what life throws at you. It's in how you choose to receive it. That means the argument you had last week, the disappointment you felt yesterday, even the uncertainty you're carrying right now, all of it only holds power over you if you let it. Stoicism isn't about denying emotion, it's about mastering it. Take Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, burdened with the weight of an entire empire. He faced plagues, war, betrayal, and still he wrote words like, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't writing poetry. He was writing survival. So how do we apply this? How do you, today, unlock your inner strength with everyday stoicism? Start with this. Control your morning, and you begin to control your life. Before the world pours its chaos into your mind, reclaim a moment of clarity. Even 2 minutes of stillness, before you touch your phone, before the noise begins, can anchor you in the present. The Stoics believed in preparing the mind before the day unfolded. They called it the morning reflection. Ask yourself, what might happen today? What frustrations might I face? And how will I respond with calm and strength? This isn't hypothetical. It's training. Just like you train the body to lift weights, you train the mind to carry pressure. Stoicism is your mental gym. But don't mistake Stoicism for coldness. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally intelligent. It's about knowing when anger is useless, when fear is false, when the mind is telling stories that don't serve your growth. One of the Stoic practices was called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They imagined worst-case scenarios not to worry more, but to suffer less. If you prepare the mind for difficulty, it doesn't break, it bends. And that's inner strength. Let me tell you a story. There was a man who lost everything in a matter of weeks: his job, his relationship, his savings. He was paralyzed by anxiety, completely overwhelmed. But then he picked up a book, Marcus Aurelius Meditations. Slowly, he began to shift. He stopped asking why me, and started asking what now. He couldn't control what was lost, but he could control who he became through the loss. And that question changed his life. That man was me. I didn't study Stoicism as a theory. I lived it as a necessity. And every time life felt unbearable, I came back to one truth. You are stronger than the moment you're in. But that strength doesn't come from resistance. It comes from acceptance. Acceptance not as weakness, but as the space from which power emerges. Stoicism gives us tools, but you have to pick them up. You have to practice them. You have to remind yourself, daily, that the world outside you is chaotic, but the world within you can be still. Every moment is a chance to return to that stillness, not to escape life, but to live it more fully. Ask yourself right now, what am I resisting? What am I letting disturb my peace that isn't even within my control? The Stoics would tell you, if it's outside your control, it's not your concern. Simple, brutal, freeing. This doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop clinging. And that shift is everything. We cling to outcomes, to people, to identities, and when those things change, as they always do, we suffer. But the Stoic learns to hold things lightly, to love deeply without attachment, to give their best effort without expectation of the result. That's real strength. That's freedom. The world will try to convince you that strength is about domination, shouting louder, standing taller. But Stoicism teaches that real strength is quiet. It's the person who doesn't react when insulted, the one who listens more than they speak, the one who walks away without anger. That's the power you begin to unlock when you live this philosophy. Now let's talk about modern chaos. Social media, the pressure to perform, constant comparison, endless distraction. The Stoics lived 2,000 years ago, but their wisdom couldn't be more relevant now. Noise, opinions, and expectations bombard us. But they remind us, you don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to win every argument. You don't have to carry every burden. You simply have to show up with integrity and let go of the rest. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Read that again. How often do we create storms that don't even exist, just by thinking about what might happen, what someone might think, what we might lose? The Stoics bring us back to the now, to what's real, to what's in front of us. And from that place, we become unshakable. But it takes practice. Not once. Daily. Minute by minute. You won't become a Stoic master overnight. You'll still get frustrated. You'll still feel anxious. But now, you'll have a space between the feeling and the reaction. That space, that gap, is where your power lives. In that space, you get to choose. Will I respond with fear, or will I respond with wisdom? This is the invitation of Stoicism. To meet life not with resistance, but with clarity. To stop demanding that things be different, and start asking what I can do, right now, with what I have. You already have the strength. You just haven't fully trusted it yet. But when you do, everything changes. Let's go deeper. When you practice Stoicism consistently, something subtle but profound begins to happen. You stop fearing discomfort. You stop avoiding the difficult conversations, the hard emotions, the quiet moments with yourself. You stop outsourcing your peace to other people's behavior. And you begin to see, your greatest enemy is not chaos. It's your own avoidance of it. What would your life look like if you stopped running from discomfort and started using it as a teacher? That's what the Stoics did. They didn't just sit around and talk about virtue. They tested themselves. They practiced voluntary discomfort, walking barefoot, fasting, sleeping without luxury, not out of masochism, but to remind themselves that they didn't need external comforts to remain internally strong. Can you imagine doing that today? Turning down ease, not because it's bad, but because you want to train your soul to be unshaken? That's not a weakness. That's power. Because when life forces discomfort upon you, and it always will, you're already prepared. Most people wait until the storm hits to start building their inner shelter. But the Stoic builds it in the sunlight. They prepare before the pain. That's what separates those who collapse from those who rise. And maybe right now, you're facing something. A season of loss. A mental fog. A crisis you didn't see coming. If so, you're not alone. But remember this. You don't need to feel strong to be strong. Strength isn't the absence of struggle. It's the willingness to keep showing up anyway. That's Stoicism. Let's talk about judgment, yours and everyone else's. One of the most overlooked Stoic teachings is this. You don't have to have an opinion about everything. That sounds simple, but in a world of constant outrage, it's revolutionary. People will try to provoke you, bait you, drag you into drama, not because you're weak, but because they are. You don't owe them a reaction. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, you always have the option of having no opinion. And from that place, you reclaim your peace. Let them scream. Let them misunderstand you. Let the noise rise. Your stillness is the statement. You see, we've been trained to believe that if we're not reacting, we're not alive. But the Stoic says, if you're constantly reacting, you're not living. You're just surviving. You're a puppet of your environment, pulled by every emotion and external circumstance. But when you pause, when you observe, when you choose, that's where real life begins. And here's another core truth. No one can disturb your peace without your permission. That's not a cliché, that's power. Your boss can't take it. Your ex can't steal it. Your failures can't destroy it, unless you allow them. And the moment you realize that, you become untouchable. Now let's talk about death. The Stoics didn't fear it. They used it. Not in a morbid way, but as a sharpening tool. Memento Mori, remember that you will die. It wasn't meant to scare them. It was meant to remind them that every moment matters. That pettiness is a waste of energy. That life is fragile, beautiful, and short. When you remember death, you stop wasting time trying to prove your worth. You stop chasing validation. You live more fully because you know this moment will never return. And you begin to ask, am I living by what matters, or by what's easy? Every choice you make is a brick in the foundation of your character. So build with care. Speak with intention. Act with virtue. No one else will do it for you. And when you fail, because you will, don't collapse into guilt. The Stoics didn't aim for perfection. They aimed for practice. Every fall was a chance to rise with more clarity. Self-awareness, not self-judgment. Growth, not shame. That's the Stoic path. So how do you begin? Start small. When someone cuts you off in traffic, breathe. When your plans fall apart, pause. When criticism comes, listen without defending. When emotion rises, notice it, don't become it. These are your reps. These are your moments of strength. Not on the mountaintop, but in the everyday. The gym of the soul isn't found in temples. It's found in traffic, in failure, in heartbreak, in boredom. Every moment is your training ground. And the more you practice, the stronger you become, not in theory, but in truth. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another self-help book. You need to return to the simple, ancient practice of seeing clearly and acting with purpose. That's Stoicism. It doesn't promise a perfect life, but it gives you the tools to meet life on your terms. Not as a victim, not as a machine, but as a conscious, courageous human being. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs people who are rooted, aware, and unshaken. It needs you in your strongest, clearest, most present form. So the next time the storm comes, remember this. You don't have to control the weather. You just have to anchor yourself. And when you do, something magical happens. The chaos outside no longer defines the peace within. Now I want to hear from you. What moment in your life forced you to find inner strength you didn't know you had? Or better yet, what's one Stoic practice you're going to apply starting today? Let me know in the comments. Let's learn from each other. Let's grow together. And if this video sparked something in you, a shift, a reflection, even just a pause, don't forget to like it. It helps more people find this message. Subscribe for more wisdom that empowers you to live not by fear, but by clarity. And remember, the strongest thing you can be is calm. Stay steady. Stay conscious. Stay free.